I want you to cry into your Hello Kitty pillow. I want you to put your headphones on. I want you to listen to some Taylor Swift. And I want you to shake it off, you bland bitch.
What up, y'all? It's KMB, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for Paper Saber Universe, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. Taking it nice and easy, you know how it goes. We're talking about NXT, February 10th, 2026. Vic Booker on commentary. And I gotta say, I am so happy to be finally caught up with all the podcasts up to this point. All the clips are out. Banged out like 3 or 4 shows and uploaded like crazy to all the things, you know. So doing things a little bit different just because of my trip to LA, but I'm glad to be back, getting back in the motion of making sure that I stay on track. I got a haircut today too. I shaved, I washed my ass, and I'm ready to go and watch some wrestling to get my day going before the day job. So we're gonna talk about NXT here. And we started off with Joe Hendry, fucking Booker. Oh my goodness, man! I love Booker T, man. And when he sings Joe Hendry's song, or he's just great on commentary. Him and Vic are just so, they're just so in tune with each other and how they nitpick at each other, and especially Vic. They're just such a great duo. I would love for them to call main roster matches at some point, switch things up. That would be really, really cool. But we started with Joe Hendry. He's ready. He's ready to go. He is our champion. And we believe in Joe Hendry. We believe in him. And it was good to see him with that championship too, just because it's been a long time coming, to be really honest. And I like what he said. He's going to be a fighting champion. The Vanity Project came out. And this sets up a match with Joe and Jackson Drake for the NXT Championship tonight. So I was like, oh, we get a championship match tonight. Vanity Project, or AKA Swipe Right, whatever they want to be called. The Vanity Project's much better than Swipe Right. Let's just be really honest. But, these guys, I'm kind of digging what they're doing. This Jackson Drake fella, oof, he's talented. Very, very talented, man. But, of course, big old fight. There's the cuckoo. Big old fight happens. They beat down Joe Hendry, but we have a match later on tonight. And Joe Hendry's like, let's go. Second match, the first match of the night, Jada Parker versus Blake Monroe. I like what they did here. We want to make sure that we can extend this feud. We can showcase what Jada Parker can do and Blake Monroe do. These two got a big count out, which I was okay with, because I'm like, I want this to go on. I don't want this to be on TV and then we just, scrub it off. Maybe this February 24th date, we have a stipulation for this match, but I love the beatdown from Jada. I love Jada going crazy, kicking security in the balls, just losing it, kicking a security guard through the wall. I was like, holy shit. Jada Parker ain't playing. This is why Miss Parker is awesome, and I can't wait to see more of Jada and Blake fight. I really did enjoy this, and especially Jada just losing her shit. We got a speed match that I did enjoy. I'm not big on these matches, but Josh and Eli Knight, I believe, Eli Knight, Josh Briggs, Eli Knight, they fight here, and it always comes down to the last minute. Always comes down to the last minute in these matches, but this was a fun one. Eli's pretty dope, man. But the way he landed on Josh, oh my God, I wouldn't kick out either. But this guy is continuing on this tournament path. Who's going to face Jasper for the Speed Championship? This Elio LaFleur comes out and faces Eli, because they're going to be facing each other next, and who's going to face Jasper. But Jasper has something to say about it as well, because he comes out and just starts whooping ass. Yeah, Jasper, he just comes out, just starts beating down, showing them like, hey, I'm the speed champion for a reason, and you two can fight amongst yourselves, but understand at the other side of that door, I'm going to whoop that ass. That's Jasper, yeah. Dark State, they were put on notice by Tony D'Angelo, and they had a little confrontation with Hank and Tank. Hank and Tank's like, we're going to get back to being the best tag team ever. We're going to get back to going after you guys for those championships. So, and then after Dark State and Hank and Tank just start a big fight. Two members of Dark State was left in the ring, and what happens? Tony D'Angelo, because he says, I'm a man of my word. I'm going to whoop Dark State's ass because they took everything from me. I'm going to take everything from them. And I like the fact that Tony D'Angelo's like, he's so badass. He's not just going after one person. He says the entire Dark State is on notice and it's on site. Love it, love it, love it. NXT Championship match. Joe Hendry versus Jackson Drake. And like I said, this was really fun. Jackson Drake is I think he's going to be a big star. I feel like he moves really well in the ring. He captivates every move that happens and stuff like that. And Joe Hendry. What's crazy is how strong Joe Hendry is. That standing ovation is probably one of my favorites. It's a modified choke slam, but he gets him up there and just bam, and it's just like, yeah, it's a simple move but effective in my opinion. But of course, Joe Hendry retains, and I'm like, all right, and I'm thinking to myself while I'm watching this, what's next for Joe Hendry? We're throwing our hands up, we believe, and all this and that. Then here comes Ricky Saints. I was like, Oh, Ricky, okay, I want to see this continue. Maybe they have a match February 24th. And it's just interesting to me that we have no PLEs on the horizon or Stand and Deliver on the horizon for NXT. Because ever since the Peacock thing and, going to ESPN for the PLEs now for the main roster, then Netflix having most of the catalog from Peacock, not all of it yet. And it's just like, where does NXT fall in all this? Because they're on the CW. It's just a lot of questions that I have. And it's just like, okay, now we're just going to drive the show. The Tuesday shows are just kind of going to be the focal points of this, and they're going to go on the road here soon too, which I'm very excited about. So we shall see where everything goes. But I like that Ricky Saints is Joe Hendry's next foe. Ooh, I'll get you. Hank and Tank versus Vanity Project. This was awesome. And of course, more tag team insane. OTM's out there, the Coing, they're getting big fight. They're showing how crazy this tag team division is going off the cusp. Vanity Project, takes advantage of that when OTM, the Coing, or distract Hank and Tank, but Vanity Project got the win. And like I said, this team is slowly growing on me. I'm tempted, I'm not going to, or I might, I say that, to go watch some Evolve, to go see, get to know Vanity Project and get to know Jackson Drake a little bit more. But they get to win over Hank and Tank, baby. Main event and my match of the night. Zaruka versus Ren QCC. Our Mr. Stone put this match together. And it was weird. I was like, why didn't we just make this a fatal four-way? Because the rule of this was, whoever gets the pinfall is the number one contender for the Women's NXT Championship February 24th against JC Jane. And I'm like, okay, but I like this match. I like this match enough to be like, okay, that's fine. Because it did stir up a little bit of drama. Soul Ruka, freaking awesome. She catches the Soul Snatcher. And Zarya got, I believe she got Kendall, and I believe Soul got Ren, or it might be vice versa, but it happened so quick to where Soul got the pin, and Zarya was like, what the, and Zarya's face, you can just read that emotion. She's pissed, she's mad, she feels betrayed, even though this was a match. You can just see it in her face. You can understand her pain. She's like, why do I keep getting pushed to the side? And of course, Soul, she's moving up. she was in the Royal Rumble. She was a huge highlight. And Zarya feels like she's sort of in that shadow, you know. And, of course, here comes Fatal Influence. JC Jane getting in Soul's face, you know, holding up that championship. I'm like, hell yeah. And what I love was the camera was on, like, Soul and JC. You know, JC's holding up that title. But you see Zarya in the back. And, you know, they get a kind of glimpse of her face real quick. And just seeing the disappointment. And I was like, oh, man. After such a crazy, awesome tag team match, which is my match of the night, I'm ready to see the drama unfold. Does Zarya cost Soul from winning that championship? You know, February 24th? We shall see. So we got a couple weeks until this happens. You know, I'm very excited. So, but that's it. That's all. And moment of the night goes to Miss Parker. Just beating down everybody because he's Miss Parker. So, but that's it. That's all. Drop those comments below. Hit that like. Hit that subscribe. You know, I give it a 3.5 out of 5 for NXT. February 10th, 2026. Vic and Booker on commentary. And remember that the New World Podcast is for life.
It's D'Angelo!